Let's talk all about exhibitors and sponsors and all the fabulous things that they do. It's happening. Coming up very, very soon indeed. Oh, it's 1 minute and 9 seconds. Get ready, it's gonna be good. Lots of excitement happening. I still do have a dress to the desk policy. I'm loving it. It's good. That's probably not essential for your virtual exhibiting legendary goodness. But it's nice to know it's an option. All right, counting down. Let's get ready to rumble. Asterix, I think that's copyrighted. Didn't mean to say it. Sorry. Count along with me. Or not. In fact, we won't. Let's not count along. And welcome to another exciting episode of the Get Events online live stream, coming to you live because it's a live stream. Why would you come to you at any other way? Hi, everybody. Welcome. Hey, today I want to talk to you about online exhibitors or virtual exhibitors or sponsors when it comes to hybrid events, virtual events. I've got to tell you, they've struggled, really struggled. And there's one key reason for it, and I want to go through that. Hey, if you're into events, online, face-to-face, whatever, and you think this is going to be of value of some of your friends, colleagues, compatriots, clients, whatever, please tag them, share it around. Wherever you're watching this, share it around. And if I can help you at all, reach out. But today is all about exhibitors. There's a whole lot of things that exhibitors do really, really well. And there's some stuff not so well. But in the digital space, it's really hard. And there's one underlying reason for it. So let me go through a few things to help you help your exhibitors and your sponsors get better value for money so they sign up again with you next year. And the number one thing is people hate to be sold to. Now, you're probably sitting there going, no, not me. I love it. Let's look at a few examples. I don't know when you last went to a live expo where you pay money to get in the door. And then you go in and there's all these booths everywhere of people trying to sell you stuff. You look at most people, they walk down the dead center of the aisles, not looking at the others because I don't want to be sold anything. If I talk to them, they're going to sell me stuff. But then they get entranced by either there's a game or some imagery, or they're just having a chat to the person who turns out they're working on the booth. So we hate to being sold to. But the other thing also is really good expos like the one I've just described, they're a very analog environment. So it's not an on-off, it's just a walk past, bump in, have a bit of a chat, keep moving, maybe stay and have a more detailed chat. It's very analog. There's just varying wavelengths of how well they connect. In the digital space, it's either on or off. It's that simple. So when you've got a screen with a button that says, click here to talk to XYZ about your product needs for such and such, people are going to be like, I don't want to click on that. They're going to try and sell me stuff. So in the digital environment, it's very, very hard to just, go in there and have a casual conversation. And because it doesn't work as well as we want it to, the people who are in there, the exhibitors and sponsors, they're desperate for a lead or a sale or something. And so, when you're speaking to a salesperson, they're a bit sort of desperate. It's not a comfortable conversation. It's not that laid back conversation. So there is that whole concept of it's very digital, on or off. It's working or it's not. And so people don't click on the link. And then if they're like, well, click here and watch our video. I'll click here to download our PDF. It's like, well, I can do that on your website. Why do I need to be here in this expo software when I can just be, mingling with other people or go and get a drink or go and do some other work on my email system, which is right here where I am. So there's a few distractions, but the key principle is that when you're exhibiting online, it's digital. It's either we're in or we're out. Whereas when you're face to face, it's a lot more analog. I can be having my lunch and just standing there and go, oh, tell me a bit about what you do, not really caring because I'm just having my lunch. But the more we talk, the more interested I get. It's really hard to have that casual conversation. So what we need to do is flip it around. And fortunately, you can do that. So there's a couple of things. Number one is most exhibitors and most sponsors really aren't doing their job well enough. They're so desperate for the sale, or they're so desperate to get what they're after, that they're a bit too needy. And what happens is, and I've worked with a lot of sponsors over the years, a lot of them, when you try and help them, will say, I've been doing this for 20 years. Don't try and tell me what to do. And at the end of the event, they'll come up to the organizer going, you didn't have enough people go through. And it's like, mate, how many do you need to get qualified leads from to make it okay? So part of it is, as exhibitors and sponsors, we need to work with them to look at how do we help them manage their expectations and have the right people manning the booth, digital or analog. Because we're speed dating here. We're not hoping to get a sale. We're speed dating. For most of our exhibitors and sponsors, it's just that we're just getting that first phone number saying, can we connect? Is there something there? Let's catch up for a coffee after the event. So a great way to do that digitally is have discussion rooms. So you could have discussion or breakout rooms or that are focused on a topic, not on a vendor. So you could have a couple of vendors in there that are non-competing, who are talking about certain principles or issues or problems within the industry, and have it as a conversation. You can have panel sessions where, because unfortunately when we have a sponsor who goes, I want my 10-minute on stage, they come out with this big sales fest and it's just the buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff. And our delegates are like, oh, this is where the sponsor speaks. So don't have them speak. Have them questioned. Have a good facilitator. Naturally, I'd nominate myself. But have a good facilitator who can ask them questions about some of the problems that people in our industry are having. Make it about the delegates. When the conversation's about the delegates, it is more analog. It is more about them. And you can pick up on some of these leading indicators of who's got problems, and then have that whole, hey, send me your LinkedIn details, let's catch up afterwards and we'll talk further about what we could do in your situation, or here are some solutions others have had. Presenting case studies is gold, because you're saying, here's a problem, here's what they did to solve it, and here's the outcome and how happy they are. And so you're selling by association versus that blatant selling. There's just a couple of things that you can do. I'm really interested if you've done something with the exhibitors and sponsors at your online or hybrid event that's worked really well. I'd love to know more, because there's a dearth of successful solutions, let's be honest. So I'd love to find out what you've done that works really well if there's a particular installation. I've seen a lot of gamification and it looks just like an expo hall, and you click here and walk in and you click here. The novelty factor is nice to start with, but at the end of the day, it's like, let's just cut to the chase and get to where I want to go. And if, again, you've got the wrong person who's just trying to sell stuff or not engaged, I've been to events where I've clicked into the room and to see the sponsor / exhibitor, no one's there. They've decided to take off for a break because it was quiet or whatever, so they've missed out. So there's got to be some better ways to do it. And for me, it is, how do we make this analog? How do we make it so that it is an open sharing discussion? If we can make it analog, the process will be easier. The value for the exhibitor will be better. The value for the delegates will be better, which makes it a whole more enjoyable experience for everyone. All right, I hope that's given you a few different ideas. Again, love to know if there's something you're doing really, really well, or something that you've seen that works well, just so we can all get better as we do these more online and hybrid events. They're here to stay. I've got to tell you, I live in Melbourne. We've just been locked down. We've extended the lockdown for another 7 days. I reckon it's going to go further. I reckon we're going to head for the 3rd week. And so many events have just been canned, or we have to flip them online. Anyway, it's just life into the new regime. Yeah, thanks, Yvonne. The open sharing discussion is really good. So it's having the right facilitator to make that happen. And it's often best not the sponsor or the exhibitor, because they have a different agenda. Whereas a good facilitator will make sure, how do we make sure that it's good value for the sponsor as well as good value for the delegates? So that's really cool. Hey, I'm going to be back here this time next week, 9 o'clock Melbourne time, every Thursday for the Get Events Online live stream. Thanks for being here. It's been a joy to have you as part of it. All right, this is me dancing around a little bit because it's the end of the live stream. Reach out if I can help at all. Here's my website, and grab me. Let's chat. Let's find out what you need. Let's find out how we can help. So that'll be awesome. Alrighty, see you next time. End of live stream stall. Dancy. Everyone's happy. Thanks, Dave. Yeah, get your events going soon. Once we're allowed